to this computer. We are recording, so Wilco, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's Memorial Day, and he was nice enough to hop on, so we're not going to take a ton of his time, but I wanted to let everybody know that I've never personally met you, but I saw you when I was first joining eXp in last year, probably in March. We were in, I think, Dallas. I can't remember. We were somewhere in Texas. Yep. And you were on stage.
Right? Oh, Plano. Was Plano?
Plano. Yeah. It was Plano. And you were on stage, and what was so impressive was that it really, your story really moved me, because you were not this top producing realtor selling 300 homes a year.
Yeah.
And so
successful realtor, right? So.
Right. And so I have a lot of people in our group that have this mind block that, you have to be Jay Kinder or Mike Reese or these big influencers to make eXp work. So today I want to get to know you, your story, and then ask you a couple tough questions. Be as open and honest as possible. This is staying within our group.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So tell me first, I gotta know, where does Wilco come from? What is the origin of that name?
Yeah, I'm from Holland originally. And my dad's name is Willem. And my mom's name is Connie. So they took the first 3 letters of my dad and the first 2 of my mom. And Wilco is actually a pretty common name in Holland. So
is it?
But they kind of like, hey, it kind of makes sense. So yes.
Makes sense. And there he is, Mr. Wilco. That is awesome. That is awesome. So tell me, how long with eXp? Is it 3 years?
Yeah. So I've been with eXp 4 years, I believe.
Okay, 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. And I got my real estate license. Do you want me to kind of just tell you my story?
Yeah, I'd love to hear your story, just the whole background. Yeah.
Yeah. So, my background, I come from, I built a soccer club. Okay. Yeah. So I came to the States to play college soccer. I got a soccer scholarship. I did that for 4 years, loved it. Then I got drafted by an indoor team in Dallas. That's how I ended up here.
Nice.
And, after playing semi-pro, professional, I wasn't making a ton of money, right? I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to be real successful with this. So I got into coaching, and I started a youth soccer club, started with 3 kids, and did skills, and started coaching some teams. And then, I was maxed out on the number of teams I could coach myself.
Right.
So I started scaling by recruiting coaches that were coaching teams. So I would take a piece of the top there. And I did that for about 10 years. And I got really burnt out with that. So I sold my club, and I had during that time accumulated some rental properties, because every time I moved, I kept the home we moved out of, and they were doing relatively well. I only had 2 properties. And so that's how I got my real estate license. And I tell you, just to go back to what you were saying in terms of mindset, when I first got my real estate license, Rob, I had met Rob, and he called me up. It's like, hey, didn't you just get your license? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you need to check out this eXp thing. It's amazing. You can make a ton of money with it. So my first reaction and response to him was, Rob, this isn't really going to work. Nobody knows who I am. Just brand new, So that's kind of how I got into eXp. And I had the same mindset. So, anyway, I don't know if you wanted to kind of have some more questions.
Perfect. Because how did Rob connect with you 4 years ago? Did he somebody gave him a referral that you had just gotten your license?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I call it fate, right?
Yeah.
For me, not for him.
Sure. Right. Exactly.
But, he came to Dallas. He was moving here. He's from Arizona originally, and he came here for some business. He was also looking to invest, and he was doing some other things. And he actually was renting the previous home that I lived in.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah. So he was renting, and, so he told me his background story about Keller Williams, how he built Keller Williams. And, I was already in the mindset of, I want passive income. I've worked myself. I work 60, 70 hours a week. I'm looking for passive income.
Right.
I was actually looking to accumulate 50 rental properties over 5 years. Like that was my mindset.
I was going to do 75. So yeah, we were in the same boat.
Yeah. And I felt like, you tell me, but I felt like if you did 50 to 75 rental properties, you would likely have about 10 grand per month in net income, right? And you would be building wealth, right? So that was my mindset. And then when he shared eXp, he was like, you can build cash flow here and build wealth with the stock, right? So you basically, he said, based upon what I know, Wilco, I think this is going to be way easier for you to accomplish your goals than it is by acquiring a bunch of rental properties.
Right.
So I had to shift everything. And quite honestly, I didn't really think it was going to work. I was like, if I make $1,000 here and there a month, something great. But obviously it's been way more than that. So, so that's how I met Rob. He was renting a home. And that's when he moved to Dallas. And then he met Gene Frederick, right, in Austin. He drove down and Gene shared eXp. And that's how Rob learned about eXp. So
yeah, we can all thank Gene for having the vision, right? Yes. Above and beyond Glenn. So you meet Rob, you have your license, and I think you mentioned when we were in Texas that every week Rob told you you have to have a lunch and learn. So at the time, did you have an office or anything? Like, how were you coordinating this exposure to other realtors to get them to see the model?
Well, we didn't have lunch and learns when we first started.
Oh, okay.
We just, it was kind of interesting because what we tend to do is we try to offload everything we know on people, right? Like obviously Rob knows a lot about building organizations.
Right.
What Rob is really good at is just motivating people to take the next step.
Right.
He doesn't say, oh, you need to do lunch and learn and you need to do this. And then it's just get people to do a simple thing and get them inspired to do that. So when I first started with him, I was like, okay, Rob, I'll give this a try. Okay, let's try to do this. He's like, what do I need to do? He's like, go make a list. I'm like, all right. So I went home, wrote down a list of 10 real estate agents that I knew. That's all I knew, right? I knew nobody. And took me hours just to get 10 names. Right. And so, I went, okay, I got my list. What next? It's like, set up an appointment. And you and I will both go to the appointment.
Right.
And we'll sit down. So we started doing appointments. And, then I was like, hey, I ran out of my list. What do I do now? It's like, well, there's 40,000 real estate agents in Dallas-Fort Worth. Go meet some agents.
Right.
And well, how do I do that? It's like, I don't know. Go to an event or something, figure it out.
Bingo.
Yeah, I don't know, and so he would just tell me, but he wouldn't do it for me. Right.
And were you getting discouraged? Like, oh man, this is kind of hard. It's harder than I thought. Or were you like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to have blind faith.
It really was actually kind of hard because for 3 weeks straight, I was like, okay, I'm going to give this everything I got. And I'm going to see if in the next month or two, this is going to work. Mm-hmm. And for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we were doing quite a few appointments multiple times a week and nobody was joining.
Right.
And I was like, Rob, I don't know, man. He's like, just keep doing it. Trust me, it will start happening. And it's like, I just want one agent to join. Just, just one agent, and then eventually, it takes 2 or 3 months sometimes for people to come on board and you just got to have good follow up. And so that's how we started. And then when we started building momentum, it's like, hey, we have some momentum now. Let's start these lunch and learns. And that's when we started the lunch and learns where we could get 5 to 10 agents in a room. That's how we started.
Right.
And the first 3 or 4, we only had literally 5, 6 people. And most of them were with eXp already.
Exactly. Yeah. So you get one new person, right? Yeah.
Really, actually, in the beginning, I went to the first 2, but then I wouldn't have any guests come. And then I just wouldn't go. And Rob was like, why are you not coming to lunch and learn? And, and I said, well, I don't have any guests. He's like, no, we don't do the lunch and learns for the guests. We actually do it more for the agents.
Us, to get them inspired.
Because when you leave that lunch and learn, you get fired up. You get confident.
Yes.
Confidence that will flow over into in the manner in which you communicate with prospects or other agents, right?
And that's what I kind of see now too, Wilco, is I see that this is working. So for me, I started with 12 agents on my team, 12 or 13 agents, and I brought over 20 more agents in a year. And now we have 200 people in 12 months, which is growing, right? So 25 or 35 frontline, 25 FLQA. And so I keep telling my agents, just trust me, it's going to take some time. Some people take 5 months, some people take 3 months. But in that first year, as you're grinding it out and going to these lunch and learns, how many people did you get in your front line your first year?
So in the first 10 months, I brought in about 25.
Okay. All right, good.
And so I got really excited, I was really motivated.
Yeah.
And so when I ran out of my list, I started thinking about, okay, how can I learn how to prospect? So I bought this book called fanatical prospecting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Because I'm actually a little bit more of an introvert. I don't really necessarily like striking up conversations with strangers.
Right. Right.
So that's one of the things that in that book, it teaches you how to just become interested in other people.
Right.
So I read this book and I started practicing. I would go to the gas station. I mean, I would get gas. I would be there anyway.
Right.
And then another person. And I would challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone and just strike up a random conversation. Like just have a friendly conversation and with no agenda.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And so you just start practicing being interested. Hey, it's a great day. You just, I don't know, you just try to have a friendly conversation. It sounds weird, but for me, that was kind of like, I was out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone was, hey, I'm on the field. I'm on the pitch. I can talk with anybody and soccer wise, but in real estate and other business environments, it was a little bit out of my comfort zone. So that's kind of where I started practicing. And then once I started feeling comfortable and just talking with people, I would then transition the conversation to real estate.
Nice.
And to a certain point, I actually got pretty good at this because I was getting referrals from people in real estate, other agents that they knew. And I was talking to people that didn't even know me. So like one of my rental properties, I got a keychain. A key lock change, right? And I went to Home Depot to get my keychain, my key changed.
Yeah.
And I just struck up a conversation with the person helping me, and they ended up referring a really good friend of them that was in real estate that I had lunch with that week and did an interview with. Now they ended up not joining eXp, but that's beside the point.
Right. You were just trying to make connections.
Exactly. And that at that point, I knew that. I had gotten to a point where I knew I was going to be successful because there's 2 million real estate agents in the United States.
Right. So if I put you on the spot and you're buying paint at Home Depot and I'm the paint girl, what would you say to initiate that? How does it sound when you're kind of digging to see who my agent is?
Exactly. So you don't just go up and say, hey, do you know a real estate agent?
Of course. Right. We're talking about paint, color you want and
pleasant. And you're also, and I love this, Gene talks about this all the time. You want to talk to people who are open-minded, who are friendly, and obviously a genuine compliment, and just go with the flow, just be a good person, just compliment people without an agenda. Right. And then if that happens, if you feel like you're having a positive conversation with someone, then at that point, I might bring up the conversation of real estate. I say, yeah, I'm getting my key changed because I have some new tenants, moving into my rental property. And real estate's pretty good in the area, don't you think? And I just kind of strike up a real estate conversation. Right. And then I would say something to the extent of, I'm always looking to connect with really good real estate agents. Who do you know that is the best real estate agent in the area that I might be able to talk to about my rental property or other real estate business?
Nice.
Very simple. And you know what? I have a really good friend of mine is an expert real estate agent in the area. You need to talk to this person.
Right.
And then, I said, great. What's her name? Or what's his name? Mm-hmm. Every real estate agent is online, right? So, and I said, what's your name? Would you mind if I refer to you when I call this agent? And, obviously this isn't like an extreme case. Most of the time you're talking to people within your network who know you. Right. Exactly. But I was just challenging myself because I know that if I can get a referral from a real estate agent from someone I entirely don't even know, that's that's a whole nother level. Right. So you want to talk to people, obviously it's a lot easier.
Yes.
And people can recommend you and that kind of thing. So anyway.
So you got better with getting outside of your comfort zone. So now your first year you get 25 agents. Were any of these agents top producing agents that were like a Brent Gove? Did you get lucky and get a Brent Gove, or did you get, your standard producing, 8 to 10 to 20 deal a year producers?
So Juan and Bettina, I played professional soccer with Juan, and they're $20 million producers.
Yes.
So they're really successful, and so they were one of the first ones that I talked to.
Right.
Then Rob went down to Houston, and I cold called a couple of agents down there. And I was able to get one agent to a lunch and learn we were doing down there.
Right.
That agent introduced me or brought in Jeff and Amanda.
Nice.
So Jeff and Amanda, they do about 30, 35 million. They're amazing, right? They're just a phenomenal team.
Yes.
And so they brought in, so through someone that I knew, introduced me to Jeff and Amanda.
Right.
And I would say, and there's another gentleman, Terry, in Palm Coast, who I met through someone else as well that I enrolled.
Right.
So a lot of people that have helped me grow.
Right.
The core, I've grown to over 800 agents now.
Right. Which is,
I would say the majority of them have come through about maybe 5 to 6 agents that are not on my first level.
Wow. That's amazing. Because you found some builders, right? That built it for you. So today you have 8. So in 4 years, you have 800 agents, and that roughly is what per year is probably 700,000.
Yeah. Like I need to get some more personals. I'm not unlocking all my levels, so I need to unlock some of my levels.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's been life-changing for sure. You know, yeah, it's been a lot more than 50 rental properties per year.
Exactly. And the thing that I think people don't get is this is the long game. You've been doing it 4 years to get to 800 people, right? So your first year, you didn't have 800. Your first year, you had 25. Did you get to even 200 your first year?
Yeah, the first year, I think it went to about 150.
Yeah.
And then it grew to, the second year was about 250, 300.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it started gaining momentum over time.
Right. Over time. And it'll continue to gain momentum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so today your front line looks like what? Your front line in FLQA.
So I have 25 personals.
Okay.
And so of that, I have 16 qualified.
Nice.
So I need more to get qualified. But that's normal, you know, that's a good motivation from the company to make sure that you stay motivated.
Right, because you have people on your 7th level now that you're not getting paid on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's what, and I'm starting to, help them understand what that means. But the biggest thing for me is you didn't give up, right? So you continued to prospect, and you probably work a little less now than you did in the first 2 years, I would have to imagine.
Well, what happens is you invest a lot in bringing in your personals. Right. And what will happen is you start getting growth, and then all of a sudden you have to start striking a balance between continuing to expand your personals and helping your group. Right. Because some organizational time commitments, you got to, you really got, your success is going to come from investing yourself with other people. That's where your success is going to come from. Brent Gove says that the growth of your group is going to depend on how much love you give them. Exactly. So you have to strike a balance when you get to that point as to work with the people, work with everybody, but work with the people that are motivated now. Because not everybody has the same timing. That doesn't mean they're right or wrong or bad or good. It just means timing is different. For me, I was really motivated at that point in time when Rob showed me the eXp model. I was very motivated. I was either going to build a rental portfolio of 50 properties, or I was going to build eXp, so everybody's motivation is different. But I think the mindset that you need to try to really adopt in this is that, this is a lifestyle change and a mindset shift, right? You're not just going out and recruiting a bunch of people and hopefully it works. Like this is just like when you get your real estate license, just selling a bunch of homes and hopefully, life will be great. Like you have to change your mindset. Like, how are you going to create a consistent buyer flow that's coming in? How are you going to create consistent listings that are coming in, right? How are you building and are you growing as a person to lead an organization? And so I had already been changing my mindset because I wanted to do something different than what I was doing. And I wanted more success in my life. So I became obsessed with being my best. Yes. That doesn't mean I have many, many flaws, trust me. But, your mindset has to be obsessed with being your best. The more better you are, the more value you have to give. You have to give, right? So that's a really, really important mindset shift. It's not necessarily about recruiting people and getting, it's about you first, right? How are you improving your value and changing your mindset to offer more to other people, you know?
So becoming a leader, really.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You were a leader in soccer, right? You were leading teams, you were leading coaches. Now you're leading realtors in a different capacity, but it's really the same.
Well, my mindset was, in the beginning, I was kind of afraid because I felt like I was recruiting people, and
right.
I had this messed up mindset as to what I was really, I thought I was being just deceitful,
like
weird. So
creepy. Yeah, because
yeah,
it's a pyramid. It's a pyramid. How many
exactly.
times have you heard that? Yeah.
Recruiting is part of our industry, and you are setting people free. You have the prize. And so I read this book. It's called Pitch Anything. And it's all about positioning yourself in place of status and power, but not in a salesy, aggressive, rude way. But you're using your power, right? Because you have a lot to offer people, and you have to believe that. So you can't talk down to yourself and be like, well, I have nothing to offer, I mean, I was talking to pretty successful people in the industry, and they had no idea. They thought I was equally or even more successful than them.
Right.
They didn't ask me, but I wasn't deceiving them. But the manner in which I was talking was in a way that I was placing myself equal or in a stronger position than they were. Just in posture and the way that I spoke. And you learn this by reading books and advancing yourself and building your confidence. So just don't diminish yourself, and that's, I think, probably the biggest reason people find it interesting that I had success in real estate, because I didn't have any success. But the prize was not in the number of homes I sold. I mean, Tom Ferry, phenomenal real estate coach.
Yes.
How many houses does he sell per year?
He doesn't. Yeah.
0.
Exactly.
I don't think he's ever had he might have sold a house here or here, but that's not his business. He's really, really good at breaking things down. Some of the best coaches in soccer haven't played the game at the level I have, but they're fantastic at coaching the game. Right. And it's the same thing with him. So you got to change your mindset and your approach to believing. And you do this not just by listening to me or you, but reading one book. It's got to be an entire a focus. You got to be obsessed with being your best, constantly reading a book every single month, or 2 books every single month. And if you have a specific area that you're like, well, I don't know how to position myself. That's where I learned about this book called Pitch Anything.
Yes.
You can pitch anything to anybody. You could pitch a $200 million deal, even though you don't have even $100,000, right? You're not worth $100,000. Doesn't matter. You can pitch anything. It's called borrow credibility. There's so many strategies you can take through that book. And then, all these different little books that I went through that kind of start to elevate you into playing the game at a higher level. Right. So anyway, that was the big game changer for me. That if you take anything from listening to this, is become obsessed with your best. You're not going to listen to one thing and that's going to be the key. You're not going to read one book and that's going to be the key. It's a constant progress of you developing yourself, and naturally you're going to find the solution to building your organization or building wealth or cash flow with whatever it is.
Right.
So anyway,
I'm obsessed with it. And I think that's one of the traits I always have. I'm kind of obsessive. With real estate, I was obsessed with becoming the best, and I'm constantly trying to learn and grow. I have many flaws too. And now all of a sudden I'm thrown into leadership, and I went, oh my God, are these people actually following me? Oh my God, they are. I better read more about becoming a better leader. And so I think you're right. You just have, whoever is watching this has to become the best at whatever it is that they want to do. So do you think realtors today, because it's been 4 years now, so you've watched eXp grow, do you think real estate agents today have it a little bit harder or easier? Because I feel like everybody you talk to now knows about eXp, and they either have made a good or bad decision on whether they like it or not. So do you think we have it more challenging? Because I've been in it a year. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, what is the stat? 80% of all people that go through a for sale by owner that try to sell their homes by themselves end up selling with a realtor.
Right.
Which realtor do they end up selling with?
Right.
A realtor that provides the most value and connects with a homeowner at the right time. Right. It's the same thing with agents. So there are 2 million real estate agents in the United States. Every 3 years, about a third cycle out and a third a new cycle in. That's 600,000 realtors every 3 years that enter the industry. Now, we all know that not all of them are going to be great real estate agents, but let's take the 80-20 rule. Let's say 80% are going to suck and are never going to sell a home. And 20% are going to be decent agents that will probably sell, 4, 5, 6 homes per year. Okay. So that means that 120,000 agents, what is that? 40,000 agents per year, new agents that are going to sell 3, 4 homes a year are going to enter the industry every year.
Love it. Love it.
Right. So in the beginning, I did have a little bit of that scarcity mindset where it's like, oh my God, I got to hurry. I'm running out of time,
Right. I got to get them all.
So, and I think it was Scott Lewis that really kind of broke down numbers wise. It's like, guys, there is so much abundance out there. Don't get into a scarcity mindset. Be obsessed with your best, because guess what? When you focus on you being the value, eXp, don't get me wrong, eXp is a great model. Okay. eXp is one of the best models to have cash flow and build wealth out there. Okay. In the industry. However, let's say eXp goes away today and it just stops existing. Okay, well, if you focus on yourself as you're the reason you're going to succeed, it's not eXp. You are the reason, right? So that's where the abundance comes in, right? You are the one that can become a billionaire. eXp is not going to make you a billionaire. You're going to do it with or without eXp. But eXp is a great avenue. So anyway, I'm kind of getting off track again.
No, but I love that. It's so true. I mean, and I say all the time, eXp is, I think, the best company out there. But you're not going to come to eXp thinking it's a get rich quick scheme, do nothing, or just say, I'm with eXp now, everybody join me. That's not how it works. It's hard work, and you need to work on yourself, becoming the best.
Exactly. Once you adopt that mindset, it's like, you're not competing with me. I'm not competing with you. Like, you know what I mean? It's about, and the more value you give others, it's going to come back to you, right? So, so you have 40,000 good agents every single year that are going to enter the industry. And what happens is that most agents that talk about to other agents, they don't do it in the right way. It's over the phone, 5-minute conversation. You need to check out eXp. You're going to get stock. You're going to get revenue share. It's very few people are going to sign up like that. Okay. Maybe a close friend, but, that really trusts you. But to really build an organization, you got to kind of go through a process, an education process. You got to get people to understand eXp, and that doesn't take a phone call. So most agents, they'll make 1 or 2 phone calls, and then that's it.
Give up.
Right? So if you have a better follow-up system and you have a better introduction to eXp, right, you're going to have more success. And most likely, maybe someone 2 years ago learned about eXp, and now they're in a different place. You do a better job of sitting down with them, and explaining it, getting them to understand it, and providing better support. They're going to join you.
Agreed.
So even sometimes it takes 6, 7 times for someone to learn about something before they adopt it. It's like, okay, I guess eXp is going to be around. I'm hearing it from everybody. Maybe I should take it serious. And you could be in that position where now they're finally ready to actually sit down and really learn and understand it. So that's the mindset that I would take, is an abundance mindset. You're building a business that you couldn't build outside of eXp. Unless you'd be willing to invest $20,000 per month, or $10,000 per month in your own business, in creating your own brokerage. That's your alternative. You could start your own brokerage. You could buy a franchise. Either way, you're going to spend 10, 20 grand a month. In eXp, $85 a month. And you have a business. Like,
it's crazy. I mean, it is so crazy. And I think, sometimes I think it's frustrating when agents talk to other agents and they come back to me and go, why don't they see it? Well, it's okay. You didn't see it right away. I didn't see it right away. It takes time, but you got to love on them. That's it. I give people lots of love. And I know we have the best organization. I know we have the best support. And we have great people in our organization. So like you said, this is very, very helpful because I think it shows that you put in the work. You didn't just magically appear and agents followed you, and really 25 followed you, right? And now you have 800 people that are going to grow to 1,000 in the next 2 years.
Yep.
And that's agents helping agents helping agents. That's just not Wilco doing it all, which I love. So it's leverage. It's true leverage.
Absolutely, 100%. You know, and if you think about it in a franchise model, right? If I were to buy a franchise for $20,000 to $40,000, I would have to bring in 50 to 100 agents just to break even.
Easily, yes.
And those agents that I have, they don't get the same benefits that I do.
Right, right.
You know, they don't get to build a business within my franchise. I mean, I guess in the Keller Williams model, you have the profit sharing, but most of the time it's not enough to really build something. You need thousands of agents to really build. You know, anyway, so, you know, or in your own business, you know, or in your own brokerage,
right.
Those agents that you bring in, they cannot build their own business in terms of, you know, passive income. So eXp is an interdependence that, you know, your business is dependent on other people's success. Their success is dependent on your, you know, so it's an interdependence model that's really unique with eXp, and it creates this collaboration and this environment where, you know, it changes it changes the environment for everyone to want to succeed. So
it really does. That was one thing that I felt was the energy amongst agent was so different than my Remax or my Keller Williams, you know, organizational, you know, events that they did. So people are just more excited at eXp. But you're awesome. I'll cut it short now. I mean, we're 45 minutes. I want you to get back to Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wilco. I mean, you're amazing. And I think it's going to inspire a lot of people in the group to see that, you know, you didn't have to come in selling 100 homes a year. You just worked your butt off. And you learned by buying those 2 books on how to pitch better, right? And how to get outside of your comfort zone. And now it's not luck, it was work.
Those were 2 key, those were 2 key books.
Yeah.
And leverage Tina, obviously she's amazing.
Yeah.
And leverage the people within your organization, because that's what I did. And quite honestly, a lot of successful realtors, they come in and they try to do it themselves because they're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I could have had the luxury of being kind of blind as to what I needed to do. It's like, Rob, what do I need to do?
What do I need to do? Yeah, and you listened.
Okay.
You were coachable.
I can't tell you how many times I've actually sat down with someone and said, and they wanted to build this thing. I said, okay, make a list, and they don't do it.
Right.
It's insane.
Right.
It is insane. A simple thing, build a list.
Yeah.
And they don't do it. They skip it. They're like, yeah, I'll get to it. Just tell me,
yeah.
How do I automate this? No. Take the steps. Listen to Tina, leverage her, you know, and there's a system that's pretty simple to follow, and you're gonna succeed. It's just a matter of time. So
and I think that's what we are as agents. We're like, no, I can close them. I can do the bit. I want to say that I got that person to join. It's like, that's not really what it's about. I think that when we talk to people, we bring 2 or 3 people on the call and we show them, hey, these are all our partners. And it really is pretty inspiring than me kind of closing them, because it feels like I'm trying to recruit, and I'm not. You know, the $2,800 is not going to change my life. But really, if I can help that person bring in 10 and they bring in 10, now we've just helped 100 people.
Exactly.
It's amazing. So, well, thank you. You're amazing. And I'm sure we'll see each other. Are you going to be at the event in August? I think Brent's got Tony Robbins coming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we will all be there. There'll be 20 of us. So we'll have to meet you in person.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Wilco.
Thank you.
Happy you and your family.
All right. You too.
All right, take care. Bye.